Hello, my name is Nicholas Gavlik, and I was one of the moderators for topic number 7, which was writing a business plan. And I want to start off by saying that a business plan is one of the most crucial, creating one is one of the most crucial steps in turning an idea into a business plan. And what I mean by that is that it lays out every aspect of the business and every process that you can think of, and oftentimes more come to mind as you begin writing, and puts it on paper and forces you to think about it. And this not only becomes a very valuable tool, but it becomes a reference point that you can look back on and see what worked, what didn't work, where was I when I started this, or where was the company when, how was it doing when this happened, and why isn't it growing so much anymore like when it did back when we started. And it's just a great way to keep track of everything. And much like how a company grows, the business plan grows as well. And what I mean by that is similar to a blueprint. A business plan can be thought of as a blueprint to a house. As you're constructing a house, the blueprint's going to change, much like your business plan's going to change as your business grows and changes to adapt. Things don't always work out, and sometimes a lot of things have to be changed, even though there are conditions that can be out of your control. But the business plan can also be used as a great way to test the feasibility of whether it's going to be a viable option in today's market, or is it going to be a viable option financially. So a lot of times in sole proprietorships, a lot of people crash and burn because their business plans, although their business plans may have been great, but they could not sustain it themselves financially. And so that's when they need to use their business plan as a tool to gain investors. Now, investors don't necessarily take the time to read your 30, 40, 50 page business plan, even though it may be great to you. A lot of people don't want to spend that much time reading about another company that they may not even be interested in. And so that's when, throughout the construction of it, the first part of your construction is typically your executive summary. And your executive summary is about 10 to 15 pages, and that states what your company is and how it plans to succeed. And that's basically what investors care about, is see if they're at least interested in your company. And once they see that you put that much passion or excitement or that much time and effort into something, they believe that you're going to return that much excitement and passion into the business, so they make sure they're getting their money's worth as well. Well, they'll get the money back, and the company will succeed, so everyone's going to win. There are many different parts to a business plan, different styles, and different structures, but I personally like the standard outline structure. It's very easy to read, very simple, and I feel like it's the most clear way to portray your information. And like I said, you start off typically with the executive summary, which states your basic information. That's what it is, how it's going to do what it plans to do, and how it's going to succeed doing that, and so forth. Afterwards is the company description, market analysis, organization, management, products and services, marketing, marketing strategy, sales, and financial projections. And then after that can all be organized in many different ways, where some can be smaller than others depending on what you're aiming for your company, or for your business plan, and what stage of life your business plan is in, because you can start a business plan at any point in your business's life, because it's still, there's no harm, no foul. It's gonna help you any way. But the different types, like there's an internal business plan, strategic business plan, annual business plan, growth business plan, even a what if business plan. and they all incorporate different parts of your business and focuses on, well, different parts of the business. Like the what if plan focuses on anything you can imagine, good, bad, and how your business will cope with that and how it's going to adapt and change itself. I see many times reading business plans where people throw that in, and that's where you start seeing it, a business plan become 50 pages, 60 pages, 65 pages, getting towards more of a operational business plan length, even though it's not. But it encouraged me as the reader or even an investor to know that the person is thinking about everything imaginable and how he or she is going to handle it and what can be improved on what they're saying in their business plan, because sometimes their experience isn't going to be, they don't have as much experience as someone that is an investor reading it that can help them out. There are also different styles of business plan. Like there's the summary business plan, the full business plan, and the operational business plan. The summary business plan is only 10 to 15 pages long, and that's a very simple one to write, and it's a great way to start out with too, as well as an easy 10 to 15 pages that you can give to an investor, similar to an executive summary that just states the business, what you plan to do, and where it plans to be. A full business plan is the most common, and 25 to 35 pages long is about the average, and that's the most general overall business plan that you can create, that covers the general information of your company. And an operational business plan is one of the most detailed ones that can range to 40 pages all the way up to 100 pages, and that goes through every process of the business, down to customer shaking another customer's hand after a transaction. It's just so detailed, and I personally love reading them because every business, although they may be similar, they have very big differences in how they will choose to operate. After this, after the executive summary, there's always the main body, and this is where the business describes the industry that it's going to enter and every characteristic and a piece of information they can gather on that industry, so they have a firm grasp and a foothold of where they're jumping into. I always like to think of it as, in an analogy, like jumping into the water. You're going to look and analyze, you're going to jump in the deeper end, not the shallow end. And so you can not going to jump onto a pile of rocks or something like that. But that's an easy way to put it for me. But they're going to make sure that they're going to be safe jumping in to their market, and then after that be able to jump into after your industry description, is a company description, where you go into how the company is going to not operate, but what is the company, the mission statement, things such as your tagline, which is going to be what your company will say, almost like a logo or a gist, catchphrase, your products, your services, your status, and then also your milestones, like if let's say you're doing a patent, or you're going to get X amount of retailers, these milestones that you reach are going to be how you know that your company is starting to grow and take a larger and larger jump forward from where you once were. The market after this is a market analysis, and I want this to be similar to the industry analysis in the beginning. This is going to be when you take your industry and your market, and you take your target market from your industry, and so that's where you have your market segmentation. You'll choose who you're going to market, how you're going to do it, with your marketing strategy, and how you're going to sell it to the people that you're aiming towards. And then once you've once you complete writing about that, it's going to be the financials, which states everything from your assets to your cost of goods to what your revenue is so far, what your everything about the company, every financial, because investors want to know how everything's doing, and you also want to keep track of how you're doing, as well as your projected revenue, which will be at the end. But the projected revenue is going to see, so you're making $500,000 this year, but your projected revenue for the next 3 years is going to be $1.5 million. Product and service development is going to be afterwards, where you start saying, how this is the first version of it is doing well, but what's the next version going to do? How's it going to be better? Many times, like in Steve Jobs' case, they made version 1, version 2, version 3, like all the way up to version 18 of a product before it was even considered okay to go into the market. Afterwards, from there, you're going to be talking about and writing your operations plan and how the business is going to operate on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, month-to-month basis, and that can be as detailed as you want. I always like reading and like writing down to the most minute detail of how the business is going to operate, because that's very fascinating to me. And also a schedule on how everything's going to be, when everything's going to be done, when everything's going to be completed and ready to hit the market. And then from there, another schedule can be made that marks your milestones and what you aim to hit, and just keep track of further down the line. And then after all of it, there's always going to be an appendix that has more information and more context on all the information written in your business plan already. And all this information takes 30 hours, 40 hours. When I first wrote mine, I didn't think it was going to be this long, and it took me 25, 30 hours. I spent probably about 2 weeks on it, and it was a very humbling experience, but also very the experience itself was worth it, because I thought of things that I didn't even know I had to think of, just by continuously writing and thinking about every aspect of the business, when that comes down to from the marketing strategy to the operations to the product development. Coming up from version 1 of a product to version 8 takes already weeks, but I've had to change the business plan accordingly 2 or 3 times because of that. And it's actually a very exciting experience. And writing a business plan, I always tell people, it's something you should do, at least try it out to see if something that you may be good at, or that you might like. And like in my case, it's actually a lot of fun to me. But I want to say thank you, and I really did enjoy moderating this topic. Goodbye.